Hi everyone, we're here today with John from Wicked Sweet Honey. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So tell me a little bit about yourself and about your business.
So the name of our company is Wicked Sweet Honeybees. Started the company a little over 5 years ago with my wife and my three daughters. We were actually at a lavender festival up in Madison, Ohio, and there was a beekeeper there, and they had a observation hive. Thought it was the coolest thing. I come from a business background, so science was kind of my wife's side of things, but I got the bug, and we started beekeeping. My daughter, she's 16 now, but at the time she was probably about 12 when she got into it, and we started doing it for 4-H, and that's how it kind of got started.
Okay, for 4-H.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Combination.
Nice. Yeah. So, how much honey? Like, give me some idea of like the level you're at with your business.
When we started off with 4 hives, which actually is quite a bit for someone starting off. And my wife joked and said that you should probably start a little slower, but I went at it with 4 and
nonsense.
And right. And I always joke that she was right, and she's always likes to hear that. So, but we started off with 4 hives, and in the northern areas like Ohio, the overwintering rate is not very good, and it depends on what statistics you hear, but it's 50%, 70% loss. So the first year we went in with 4, and I was hoping if I got through with 2 of them, then we could be in good shape. Well, we got through with 4.
Wow!
And that was a whole different experience. So. But you can get on average anywhere between 60 to 100 pounds of honey off a hive. So. So you're looking at a decent amount, but that's usually not the case. Starting out, it usually takes some time to kind of get established.
So when you were at this lavender festival, why bees? Why honey? Like, you knew you were getting into not just one thing, but you're getting into like, you kind of have multiple things you do when you're keeping bees, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I guess part of it was just the insect itself is super interesting. It's probably one of the few insects that produces a food. I think it's an interesting topic to talk about.
Yes.
Whenever you mention you're a beekeeper, usually it gets the interest of somebody, and they want to know more about it, and whether they have any interest at all in themselves becoming a beekeeper, they like to know about it, and everybody knows about Save the Bees and that kind of thing. So it's an interesting conversation starter. But for me, it was interesting because probably ironically about it is I don't eat that much honey. So, my kids love it, and my wife loves it. But it's the whole prospect of it is just interesting to see something, a colony of bees work so well together to produce something, and you being a part of it is super interesting and super fulfilling. It's frustrating, like any livestock,
right.
But I really, really enjoy it.
How did you learn how to do it?
Well, that was, I'm part of a local beekeeping association, and when I got into that, they were going through kind of a turnover, so there wasn't a lot of help there. But in Ohio, we're super lucky because Medina is known. The root company is from Medina. There's a lot of things from local beekeepers, maybe not in Trumbull County, but not very far. So Worcester, the beginning of March, they have one of the largest conferences where they have over 1,000 beekeepers.
Wow.
And it's probably one of the largest ones in the country. So
that's not far.
No. So to be able to go to that and I've seen commercial beekeepers from California, from Florida, from last year or the year before last, because of COVID, it was a gentleman out of Vermont. So you see a lot of these beekeepers that have 1,000 beehives, and you're somebody who has 4 beehives,
right?
So you can, some of it's not necessarily, you don't completely, it's not the same,
right.
but on the other hand, you're always learning.
But they started somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. So
your honey, tell me what makes it, if I'm buying local honey, why is it better? Why is it better for me? Why is it?
So what a lot of people didn't know, and I didn't even know when I got into beekeeping, was honey comes a lot from overseas, and that's not truly regulated in a way that keeps people from adulterating it, basically. They use corn syrup, rice syrup. There's a really nice a documentary on Netflix about it that talks about exactly what we're talking about. What we use as Americans in honey, we cannot produce enough here. But the difference being is if you get it from me, I literally take it from the hive, from a frame, and put it in that bottle. I run it through some strainers, just some metal sifts basically to get all the extra stuff out, wax and things. But I don't do anything. I don't heat it up. I don't pasteurize it. It's coming from the flower to the bee, to the hive, and then to the bottle. And a lot of, if you go into Walmart and you look at the shelf, you'll see a bottle of honey for $4, and you're like, well, you know, yours is more expensive. Well, they pasteurize it. It's not 100% honey. Most of it is, a good portion of it is probably corn syrup or rice syrup. And the other thing is you'll notice if you've had honey, pure honey, it'll crystallize, which it basically turns to a solid.
Right.
If it doesn't, if you've had a bottle of honey in the pantry for a year and it's still a liquid clear, it's because it's not 100% honey.
So if it crystallizes, it's not bad.
No, not at all. In Europe, a lot of them prefer crystallized honey over regular honey because they just spread it on kind of like a butter or something.
Sure.
All you have to do is put it into a pan with water in it. Don't microwave it because you'll get overheated. It won't do anything other than it'll destroy the natural properties that are in the honey.
Right.
So if you put it in a pan and you kind of warm it up, or a double broiler type of thing, it'll loosen up and eventually. If you have a dehydrator like for beef jerky or something like that, it works fantastic. You know, put it in there for like 100 degrees and let it sit in there for an hour or something, and it'll liquefy.
So, what do you love about it? Like, what do you love about
I guess
beekeeping? Like, what do you do? Like, why do you do this?
I guess I've had a lot of different little things that we've done. I had another side business that we used to produce. We made yard signs for high schools and stuff, and I liked taking some material and making it into a finished product and seeing people enjoy it. You know, so honey was kind of a different spin on that. You know, because the bees are doing all the work. You know, beekeeping, don't get me wrong, is a lot of work for the beekeeper. You know, and but to see that something that everyone likes, you know, even though I don't eat a lot of honey, I like honey. You know, and you don't find too many people that don't like it. So you have a product that's already something that people enjoy, and then to take it and be able to put it into a bottle and sell it, and even the bottles, you know, I love the glass bottles like the ones you have here. You know, that's my favorite bottle. But when I went out
it's beautiful.
Yeah, right. And when I went out on and polled people, I said, would you like glass or plastic? Well, people that love glass, but the majority of people like plastic, you know, because it's easy to use. And if my kid knocks it off the shelf, then it doesn't shatter on the floor, right? So you end up finding something that people enjoy, and you find out something that that I enjoy. You know, when I make a bottle and I get it ready and I bring it in here to sell, you know, I like seeing it on the shelf. Every time I walk in, it makes me smile to see it, you know, and to see other people get to enjoy that. It just, you know, makes
it's
you
been
happy.
a great product at Good Intentions. I mean, really, when I met you and we were kind of deciding to do this, I had no idea. Like, people love your honey.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is it worked out perfectly. Like you said, you know, the pandemic hit. We'd go to farmers markets and we would sell at different craft fairs and things like that. Well, that all stopped.
It was gone.
Right. So then suddenly I'm thinking, okay, well, how can we adjust? Just like you with your farm, right? You know,
absolutely.
how do we adjust? Because this is
what everybody was doing.
This is different, right? So my wife had seen you on Facebook, seen Good Intentions on Facebook, and said, "Hey, this is a new business. This looks like a great place." You know, I've been lucky enough, you know, because our hives. You know, I'm from Cortland, but our hives are here in Kinsman because we were lucky enough. You know, I live in the suburbs. I was lucky enough to meet some great people that offered their land for us to put beehives on. You know, yourself included, right?
Well, there's an appreciation. It's needed. Where we are, like we farm, we need them.
Sure. And so the fact is that I can have bees here in Kinsman, get honey locally. It's Trumbull County honey, you know, and the bees go 2 miles, so you know they go all over the place. But then when I came here and I met with you, and you said, look, I'm trying to get, I want to be as local as I can be, and I want to get local vendors, and you're a local vendor. You know, it was a good fit.
Yeah,
you know,
it was a really good fit.
Because both of us, I could sell my honey at a place place where you make it easy to sell because you have a great business here. And then on the other side of that things, I'm another vendor of a local product that helps you fill your shelves.
Right. It just keeps on going. That's really what these conversations are about, is really how we got to know each other and why I love what you do, and why it works. Why I've been successful is because people that I work with are bringing me really good products.
Right.
So tell me, just in life and your business, like, what inspires you?
I don't know. I guess it's kind of just in general, trying to make people happy. I think in general, working with other people. When we come in, if I come in and I say, hey, how's this going? I'm cool if you say, I don't know about that, but how about we do this? Or I really like this. You have to have that communication. And I think a lot of times as businesses get bigger, that kind of falls away.
Right.
And I think for me, I enjoy, I look forward to, like you said, the different spun honeys. Well, what else can we make,
Right.
And working, my wife she's big with the spun honey because she's the one that said we ought to start doing this, and the flavors and the different things, know. And we work together with that. My kids coming out and working at the hives with me. They're getting a little older, so they're less likely to come out now because teenagers.
But they may come back.
But they do. They do from time to time, and. But there's the other side of it, not just working the hives. When we go home, you got to spin the honey. There's a lot of work there, and package the honey. My daughters help with that as well. So I guess in general, it's a sense of purpose. You're doing that. You're selling a product that people like. When somebody messages me and says, "Hey, can I get some more of your honey?" It makes me feel good.
It's so personal.
Yeah, it is. It is, and. So I guess there's a lot to it.
Well, I've liked, as my business has grown, I've loved how you've grown with it. And we have these easy, you usually show up late. That's our joke about because you work and I work, but it's a great time to have this conversation about how this go, and it's just these. Me helping your business and you're helping my business, and you made the ornaments over Christmas, which were wonderful. I loved those, and people love them, the little beeswax ornaments.
Sure.
So you educate people about this also, right? So you're involved in association.
Yep. I'm part of the Trumbull County Beekeepers Association. We meet in Cortland once a month, and it's grown. We actually have an apiary at Mosquito Lake with half a dozen hives out there. We are having a beginning beekeeping class in February.
Okay.
And I teach the class, and I help teach the class, and that's because I just went to last week. There was a gentleman up in Mesopotamia that held a event. Had 50 people show up, and they had 3 beekeepers from Geauga and Trumbull County come and speak, and it was very informative. But the thing is one of the beekeepers there that spoke said, "There's some people that are beekeepers for honey because they like the honey.
Sure.
There's some people that like to do it to pollinate, and there's some people that do it because it's a passion, And I kind of feel like it's a passion for me because the honey's cool, and I love beekeeping, but I love talking to people. And when I started, I didn't have a lot of opportunity to get mentorship or help. So I've been trying to help a lot of people. Only 5 years in, I don't know, half of what I don't know.
Right.
But I also do know when I started, I had very minimal help. I did have some help. So to be able to do that and help people and educate people, and even the general public, maybe you're not going to be a beekeeper,
right?
But some of the information that I give you is still interesting.
Right.
We met here with the 4-H group, right?
Right.
And I did a little, small presentation for them, and I'm sure the kids get interested.
But it's keeping that passion going.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the people that we've talked to in the series, they're really talking about the next generation and what's that look like, and when, what's it look like. How do you keep this going? Because we need it.
Yeah.
So what's your vision for the future, for near future, big future? What do you kind of think? What do you want to do with this?
With the beekeeping specifically, I'm not sure. I think I continue to love it. I continue to want to teach people about it, and I think that'll happen. But I think even beyond that, like for my daughters, I have three girls that are a budding teenager and then 2 other teenagers, and to say, look, you can take something. You can take a building and put a business in it and run a business. You can take a product. If you're passionate about it, the people around you will see that you're passionate about it, and that spreads, right?
Yes, it does.
It does, and it helps the days that it's 6, 7 o'clock at night and you're tired.
Yep.
There's something to keep that drive going, and I think I want them to say, whether it's their own business, whether it's their own occupation, whatever it is, if they're passionate about it,
yes,
you'll be successful at it. If you're not passionate about it, it makes it a lot harder.
So you've taught them to be passionate.
Well, right, to be passionate, to love something that you do. You're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of hours in a day doing a job. So you want them to be passionate about it. You want them to love it, because if they aren't, then that just makes for a long lifetime, right?
It
And there's a lot of
does.
people that, I grew up with people that had really good jobs, but but they were really good jobs, maybe in wage, maybe for different reasons, but not necessarily they were passionate about it.
Right.
It paid the bills, but not necessarily. So
Right.
if you can do both things, right? You can be passionate about love it, and pay the bills, then
It's a win.
Yeah, it's a win.
It is.
And again, it breeds. I think when you're passionate about something, people around you notice it and people see it. And
Well, I'm grateful that that you picked me to be a part of your business.
Sure.
And people love it, and I'm grateful to have you here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being very consistent with everything that you do. So
Yes.
we'll do a lot more, I have a feeling.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, yeah.
I'm sure. Well, I'm happy to be here, and
you.
I'm happy. I mean, a lot of businesses have struggled through the pandemic, and I'm glad you started right up in the middle of it.
I know. How fun, right?
It's like, right. So I'm happy to see things continue.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing great things, and a lot of the things I know we've talked about that you haven't even got to yet.
Right.
I'm excited to be part of. So
Yeah, this is one of them.
yes,
I really wanted
farmers markets.
people to see why I loved you guys. So
Yeah, well, I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.